Egypt is quietly laying the groundwork for what Gaza's day after could look like. Cairo is now training hundreds of Palestinian police officers as part of a plan to eventually build a 10,000-strong force that could stabilize Gaza once the war ends. Now, these recruits are all from Gaza. They're paid by the Palestinian Authority and trained with modern border security methods, a sign that key regional players are preparing for a future beyond Hamas, even as Israel rejects any PA role and major political questions remain unresolved here. And with the EU signaling that it wants to train thousands more officers, the race to shape Gaza's next security architecture is clearly already underway. I want to turn back to Ariel on this. You spoke briefly about that international stabilization force. How significant is Egypt's push to train these thousands of Palestinian officers? And does this signal, first of all, that Cairo is the one that is really trying to shape Gaza's post-war future more assertively at this point?
Look, ultimately, if we're looking at the day after in Gaza, you're going to have two armed forces. You're going to have the ISF, then the multinational force, which it is unclear who's going to participate in this, because so far you have only Indonesia, Turkey, and Pakistan today saying that they're willing to send troops. No Arab country. I think that is very telling. These same countries that were trying to put themselves in the forefront of protecting the Palestinian cause, making sure that the Gaza Strip is, gets some respite. They're not willing to put skin in the game. And so this is hypocrisy at the highest levels. But that's one force. Then you have the Palestinian armed forces, which, Israel is saying that the Palestinian Authority should not have any role. I think Israel's going to have to backtrack on that demand because it cannot say no to everything. And the introduction of Palestinian armed forces on the ground is a key element to Trump's plan that was ratified by the UN Security Council. Ultimately, we're talking about 10 to 15,000 Palestinian police officers who are currently being trained in Egypt, in Jordan, some by the EU, as you mentioned. They are going to have the main task of operating the day-to-day inside the Gaza Strip, and they are going to come in contact with the civilian population. Now, these are the forces that are going to be in the highest danger from Hamas, because they're going to be operating where? In the 47% of the Gaza Strip that is under Hamas control. They're not going to be in the 53% controlled by Israel. And so you have these foreign countries who are saying, we don't want to send our troops because it is too dangerous. And then you have the PA, which is really assuming the actual mission of the day-to-day securing of the Gaza Strip. What are neither of these forces claiming that they're going to take part in dismantling Hamas's military infrastructure? It's only
about peacekeeping.
In demilitarizing the Gaza Strip. And if no one is going to demilitarize the Gaza Strip, which I'll send everyone to look at President Trump's 20-point plan. The first point is that Gaza will no longer pose a threat to Israel. And so if you have no armed force taking upon it the task of dismantling Hamas, ultimately it is likely that this plan will simply collapse and it will fall into the hands of the IDF as well. And who's going to be the first to condemn Israel for doing that? Those same Arab countries
that refuse to bring their
send
forces
their troops
in
to the ISF.